sports. I think it's the way women are valued across the world and what we can bring to the table.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Clark, and we're at Uber's Game Changers event.
Caitlin Clark made headlines away from the court this week on two separate fronts. She attended an Uber Game Changers women's retreat in Miami, where she spoke about self-doubt, trust, and the value of teammates over authority figures as the driving force in her development. Around the same time, she showed up on the sideline of an Indiana Pacers game with a camera, shooting the action herself, a moment that spread widely online and drew attention from both basketball worlds simultaneously.
When I'm working on my game and I'm in the gym with my teammates or outside of practice, I know I've put the time in. I mean, there's certainly been points in my career where I've doubted myself. Take the hits as they come and you figure it out and you rely on the people around you. That's why I love basketball. It's a team sport. Sometimes you think it's always going to be like an adult figure or somebody that kind of had a position of authority over you. But for me, I felt like it was a lot of the teammates and the captains that I had. You want to be comfortable with the people you're surrounding yourself with. Know there's people you can trust, get you from point A to point B.
The timing lands in the middle of a genuinely consequential stretch for the WNBA. The expansion draft is set for April 3rd on ESPN at 3:30 p.m. ET, with the Portland Fire and Toronto Tempo coin toss scheduled for March 28th to determine draft order.
Caitlin Clark was in Miami for a Uber retreat, women's retreat there. And now I'm here to tell you, these are some of the photos that has been floating around online. Caitlin Clark got her cameras pointing at everybody, but it looked like everybody is trying to focus on her. She simply stole this basketball game tonight, and it's going to be very interesting, man. Look like the team is definitely back in Indianapolis as we get ready for the coin toss, which is scheduled for this.
The winner chooses between the first expansion draft pick or the sixth pick in the first round of the annual draft on April 13th. Everything from roster construction to free agency movement flows from that sequence. Free agency itself is the element drawing the most concern.
Coin toss, which is scheduled for this upcoming Friday between the Toronto Tempo and the Portland Fire. Guys, it's about to get real. I just want y'all to know that and understand how real it's about to get for the WNBA. And just for us to get a taste of Caitlin Clark basketball during the FIBA World Cup is legendary. And knowing that we finally got a start date to everything, which is April the 3rd, look like the season will be starting on time, man. The only thing that kind of worry about me with the season is that free agency, bro.
The window is expected to run only 4 to 5 days, an extremely compressed timeline given that more than half the league is currently unsigned. Among the most watched names is Kelsey Mitchell. There is real skepticism around whether she returns to Indiana, and even among those who think she might, the expectation is a deal closer to $900,000 rather than a full supermax.
Season will be starting on time, man. The only thing that kind of worry about me with the season is that free agency, bro. Free agency is only going to be about 4 to 5 days, bro. So however they figure that out, I don't know. But it's going to be very interesting to see where all of these ladies ends up because more than half of the WNBA as of right now today are free agents. Some of the biggest stars is up for grabs. One being with the Indiana Fever is Kelsey Mitchell. Everybody's wondering what's going to happen with Kelsey. I've been reporting on it. Me personally, I do not feel she's going to come back. But
how the Fever handle that decision will shape what the rest of their offseason looks like. The turnover conversation around Clark has resurfaced again, with Colin Cowherd pushing back directly at critic Skip Bayless among those in his sights. The argument Cowherd made draws a parallel to Andrew Luck's early years in Indianapolis, a quarterback who threw interceptions and absorbed sacks behind a weak supporting cast, yet still led an 11-5 season.
She's going to come back, but maybe she might. Now, with that being said, if she do decide to come back, will she get a Supermax contract? I don't believe she's going to get that Supermax contract. I believe they're going to give her around $900,000, close to $1 million. But other than that, I'm ready, locked and loaded for the start of the WNBA season, and you should be too.
The broader point being that aggressive, high-volume playmakers operating in difficult circumstances generate turnovers as a byproduct of the same qualities that generate production. Clark led the league in assists and ranked third in three-pointers after an 1-8 start that was widely attributed to a front-loaded difficult schedule. The team recovered significantly from that point, pushing into playoff contention before the Olympic break.
I think it's the way women are valued across the world. And
Cheryl Swoops also weighed in on Clark and the Fever, noting that the team's trajectory was underestimated early in the season. The slow start reflected a group still building chemistry and finding its footing, and the second-half turnaround, she argued, was always a more accurate representation of what the roster was capable of. With the expansion draft deadline, protection lists due March 29th, free agency opening shortly after, and the annual draft following on April 13th, the next 3 weeks will determine what the 2025 WNBA landscape actually looks like across all 15 franchises.
the way women are valued across the world and what we can bring to the table.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Clark, and we're at Uber's Game Changers event.
When I'm working on my game and I'm in the gym with my teammates or outside of practice, I know I've put the time in. I mean, there's certainly been points in my career where I've doubted myself. Take the hits as they come and you figure it out and you rely on the people around you. That's why I love basketball. It's a team sport. Sometimes you think it's always going to be like an adult figure or somebody that kind of had a position of authority over you, but for me,
CBS Sports has officially announced a new long-term media rights agreement with the WNBA, and with it comes the broadcast lineup for the 2026 season. The network will air up to 20 regular season games, the largest slate of WNBA games CBS has ever carried on broadcast television, with additional coverage available through Paramount+. The studio team for pregame, halftime, and postgame coverage will include Basketball Hall of Famer Lisa Leslie, former WNBA All-Star Renee Montgomery, and CBS Sports reporter Jenny Dell.
And I'll show you the remarks she made multiple times about Caitlin Clark's fans over the last couple of years. Let's take a look at this. The WNBA, and by the way, fans are not happy and they're voicing their opinion loudly. The WNBA and CBS Sports announced a new long-term agreement on Wednesday that expands their partnership and will feature up to 20 regular season games annually on the CBS television network and Paramount+.
CBS Sports Executive Vice President of Programming Dan Weinberg called it a deepening of a long-standing partnership and framed the expanded coverage as a reflection of the league's growing cultural footprint. The announcement drew immediate pushback from fans, and the friction has one central target, Renee Montgomery. As a former player, current podcast host, and part owner and vice president of the Atlanta Dream, Montgomery has history with the WNBA's most commercially dominant fan base that a lot of people have not moved on from.
And Paramount+. CBS Sports will air 20 games during the upcoming 2026 season, the most ever WNBA games for the network on broadcast television. The deal also includes an expanded pregame, halftime, and postgame show featuring Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer Lisa Leslie, former WNBA All-Star Renee Montgomery, and CBS Sports reporter Jenny Dell.
The first wave of controversy came when Montgomery called out Caitlin Clark's supporters on her Montgomery and Company podcast, suggesting that a significant portion of them weren't genuine basketball fans. She described the audience as primarily social media driven, more interested in online confrontations than anything happening on the court, and implied that much of the engagement around Clark was manufactured. When pressed on whether she was targeting Clark fans specifically, she denied singling them out, a denial that landed flat given the directness of what she had actually said.
CBS Sports reporter Jenny Dell, quote, "The WNBA's growth and cultural impact has never been stronger, and CBS Sports is proud to deepen our long-standing partnership with the league that continues to drive the evolution of women's sports." Dan Weinberg, the executive vice president of programming at CBS Sports, said in a statement, "With our entire schedule of games on broadcast television, we are broadening the league's reach and amplifying the WNBA's momentum with best-in-class coverage that reflects the excellence of it."
The second incident cut deeper and stuck longer. During Clark's rookie season, Montgomery went on her podcast and accused a segment of Clark's fan base of racism, tying it to the treatment of Angel Reese. She invoked a specific allegation involving AI-generated images being sent to Reese's family, attributing responsibility to Clark's supporters.
With best-in-class coverage that reflects the excellence of his athletes and resonates with our fans. Well, okay. I don't know about that exactly. Here's the announcement, and here's their little graphic. The WNBA is back. Good God, it's a joke that Caitlin Clark's not front and center on this graphic, but okay, here we go. And right over here, that is Renee Montgomery right there.
The claim spread widely. Evidence to back it up never surfaced with any clarity. The quote, comparing Clark fans to opposing football supporters who cross a line into something genuinely harmful, became one of the most replayed moments of that entire rookie season discourse, and not in Montgomery's favor.
Right over here, that is Renee Montgomery right there. Let's just go back a couple of years. What were Renee Montgomery's remarks against Caitlin Clark fans? She's got a podcast called Montgomery and Company Podcast. By the way, vice president, part owner of the Atlanta Dream, that just moved 2 games to State Farm Arena. I literally did that video 3 hours ago. Quote, besides,
the fan response to her inclusion in the CBS broadcast team was swift. Complaints ranged from calling her a poor analyst to flagging the structural conflict of interest that comes with a part owner of one WNBA franchise providing broadcast coverage of the entire league.
That's the bots. I don't even think some of Caitlin Clark's faux fans actually even watch her games, Montgomery said. And it doesn't even seem like it's about Caitlin anymore, the stands. Like, it doesn't even seem like they care about what goes on in the basketball aspect. They're just on social media ready to fight, okay? I mean, wow, okay. Then she goes on to say,
Montgomery has a financial stake in the Atlanta Dream, the same franchise that just relocated 2 home games to a larger venue, specifically because the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark were coming to town. The idea of that same person sitting at a studio desk offering neutral analysis of the league she profits from struck many viewers as a problem beyond personal grievances.
Then she goes on to say she wasn't singling out their Caitlin Clark's fans. Well, that's exactly what you did. And it was not the first time that she did it. Let's flash back right here, because she jumped in and called Caitlin Clark fans racist. The scrutiny started when the former WNBA player and current Atlanta Dream vice president, part owner, and investor Renee Montgomery trying to expose Indiana Fever rookie Caitlin.
CBS has not responded to the criticism publicly. By keeping Montgomery in the lineup, the network is implicitly treating her past comments as a non-issue, a position that fans clearly disagree with.
Expose Indiana Fever rookie Caitlin Clark's fan base for their treatment of Sky rookie Angel Reese during the most recent episode of Montgomery and Company. Now, what she said went down in lore from that rookie season. I mean, fans are still talking about it. Fans are still saying it when they decide to make fun of people that try to brand the Caitlin Clark fan base is racist.
The remarks didn't fade from memory on their own, and the renewed spotlight that comes with a broadcast announcement has pulled them back to the surface. Whether that pressure changes anything before the season tips off in May remains to be seen.